So, hello everybody. Today we are going to see Unit 5, which is Process of Systems Plannings. And it is not plannings, it is planning here written. But let us see what's here. Introduction. We will see in this unit, you will learn the process of planning, the development of systems. You will also learn various techniques used in it. Here you will learn about the various techniques of fact finding and getting appropriate information about system which is currently in place. Based on the information gathered, a list of requirements has been compiled. The same is sent to the customer for his or her view and comments. The topic of feasibility study is discussed in depth in this unit. The process of cost benefit analysis is also discussed in this unit. Lastly, we shall discuss about joint application development JAD. Okay, so what is the objectives? After going through this unit, you will be able to know the various fact finding techniques and also the advantages and disadvantages. Identify checkpoints in system life cycle to conduct feasibility study. Know the process of doing cost benefit analysis of the project. Know various issues related with system development and learn the process of preparing schedule. Now, fact finding techniques to learn the functions of the existing system. Systems analyst needs to collect data related to the existing system. Usually, the data related to organization, staff, documents used, formats used in the input and output processes is collected. This information is obtained through interviews, group discussions, site visits, presentations, and questionnaires. Need for fact finding. Normally, each and every business, house, or any organization has its own rules and procedures to run and manage it. When a system needs to be developed, the systems analyst needs to know the requirements of the system. Depending on these requirements, the system has to be developed. Interviews. Personal interviews are recognized and most important fact finding technique where the systems analyst gathers information from individual through face-to-face interaction. Interviews are used to find the facts, verify facts, clarify facts, get the customer involved, identify the system requirements, and know all options. The interview is usually conducted by the systems analyst. To conduct interview, the interviewer must have personality which helps him or her to be social with strangers or different types of people. Always and for all situations, interviews are not appropriate fact finding methods. It has both advantages and disadvantages. So, today we will see mm, okay for 4 pages. So, let's see. Advantages. Interviews permit the system analyst to get individuals' views and get the specific problem work wise and operation wise. Interviews allow the systems analyst to obtain a better clarity of the problem due to feedback from the interviews. Interviewees. In the process of interviews, the interviewer has time and scope to motivate the interviewee to respond freely and openly. Interviews allow the systems analyst to understand the user requirements and to know the problems faced by the user with the current system. It is an effective technique to gather information about complex existing systems. Disadvantages. Interviews are very time consuming. Success of interviews in most of the cases depends on the systems analyst. Interpersonal relationship skills. Sometimes interviews may be impractical due to the location of interviewees. Types of interviews. There are two types of interviews, structured and unstructured. In structured interviews, there is a specific set of questions to be asked to an interviewee. In the case of unstructured interviews, there are few specific questions pertaining to an interviewee, but you have questions which are common to all interviewees. Unstructured interviews are conducted with only a general goal or subject in mind. Conducting interview is an art. The success in interview depends on selecting the individual preparing for the interview, creating situation in which the answers offered are reliable, and creating a situation in which option can be given without any fear of being criticized by others. Arranging interview. The system analyst should prepare properly for the interview. She or he should select place of interview, time of interview in such a way so that there will be minimal interruption. Always it is important to take appointment with the interviewee. Time to be spent during interview varies from project to project. The higher the management level of the interview, the less the time to be scheduled for the interview. Guidelines for conducting interviews. For a successful interview, the steps to be followed are given below. Introduction. During introduction, the analyst should introduce himself by focusing on purpose of the interview and the confidential nature of interview. Also, this is the phase wherein first impressions are formed and pave way for the success of the remaining part of the interview. Asking questions. Questions should be asked exactly as they are worded in case of structured interview. Rewording may modify or bias the response. Always questions have to be asked in the same sequence as prepared. Recording the interview. Record of the interview must be kept mentioning the source of the data and its time of collection. Sometimes the analyst cannot remember the source of the data, which may attribute to the invalid sources. Doing a final check after the interview has been completed. The deliberations made during the interview should be put in the form of a report. The report of the interview has to be sent to the interviewee for his or her signature. If discrepancies are found or any modifications are to be done, these can be done at this point of time. Group discussions. In this method, a group of staff members are invited who are expected to be well versed in their own wings of the organization. The analysts will have discussion with the members for the views and responses to various queries posted by them. In this process, individuals from different sections gather together and will discuss the problem at hand. Ultimately, they come to an optimum solution. In this process, the problems of all sections are taken care of most of the cases. Solutions are found which are acceptable to everyone. The main disadvantage of this process is that it is very difficult to get all the concerned people together at a time. But the major advantage is that a mutually acceptable solution can be found. Site visits. The engineers of the development organization visit the sites. Usually, the systems analysts visit sites to get first hand information of the working of the system. In this technique, systems analyst watches the activities of different staff members to learn about the system. When there is confusion about the validity of data collected from other sources, the systems analysts use the method of site visits. The main objective of site visit is to examine the existing system closely and record the activities of the system. Advantages. The process of recording facts Site visits is highly reliable. Sometimes site visits take place to clear doubts and check the validity of the data. Site visit is inexpensive while compared to other fact finding techniques. In this technique, systems analysts will be able to see the processes in the organization at first hand. The systems analyst can easily understand the complex processes in the organization. Disadvantages: people usually feel uncomfortable when being watched. They may unwillingly perform their work differently when being observed. Due to interruptions in the task being observed, the information that is collected may be inaccurate. Site visits are done during a specific period, and during that period, complexities existing in the system may not be experienced. There may be scheduling problems for the systems analysts when the activities take place during odd hours. Sometimes people may be more careful to adopt the exact procedure which they do not typically follow. Guidelines for site visits. Site visits are to be conducted where the workload is normal. After studying the work and normal workload, systems analysts can observe the work at peak hours to see the effect caused by increased volumes. The systems analyst should collect the input/output form documents at the time of his or her visit. The following guidelines need to be followed at the time of observation and site visit. Keep a low profile at the time of site visit. Take necessary permissions from appropriate officials to conduct site visit. Inform the individuals who will be observed at the time of site visit. Take notes of the study of site visit immediately. Do not make any assumptions. Presentations. It is another way of finding the facts and collecting data. Presentation is a way by which the systems analyst gathers first-hand knowledge of the project. The customer makes a presentation of the existing system or about the organization. Participants in the meeting are representatives from the IT company and key personnel of the client organization. When a company needed to develop a software project, it may present its requirements for IOE, interest of expression from the interested IT company. In that case, the client presents his or her requirements. Based on the requirements, the IT companies make prototype and show the demo of the prototype. It is very difficult to obtain information in detail from a presentation, but information available through presentation is sufficient to develop a prototype. Presentation is made by the concerned department in consultation from other departments and senior officials. Questionnaires. Questionnaires are special purpose documents that allow the analyst to collect information and opinion from respondents. By using questionnaires, it is possible to collect responses or opinions from a large number of people. This is the only way to get response from a large audience. Advantages: it is an inexpensive means of collecting the data from a large group of individuals. It requires less skill and experience to administer questionnaires. Proper formulation and interaction with respondents leads to unbiased response from the customers. Customers can complete it at their convenience. Responses can be tabulated and analyzed quickly. Disadvantages: sometimes the number of respondents is low. There is no guarantee that the respondents will answer all the questions. Sometimes the individual may misunderstand the question. In that situation, the analyst may not get correct answer. Types of questionnaires. There are two types of questionnaires. Free-formed questionnaires are questionnaires where questions are mentioned along with blank spaces for response. Fixed-formed questionnaires are questionnaires which consist of multiple choices and the respondent can select only from the choices provided. The following are various types of fixed format questions: true or false or yes or no type questions, questions whose response will be one of the choices: strongly agree, agree, disagree, ranking type questions, ranking items in order of importance, multiple choice questions, select one response or all the relevant responses. So here we come to the part 1, and check your progress answers will be available in the description below, so you can check that out. Till then, see you in the next session, and till then keep exploring.